what are red flags that you see that could be applied to retail investors?
Potentially like really low float, like the founding team or core team owning a really large percentage of an asset, bug within like the smart contract itself, potential nefarious kind of market makers associated with this project.
The government can actually buy and sell these crypto altcoins. It just sounds like there's this huge whale that can buy and trade these altcoins, but how does that affect the overall project?
I don't think
we are going to have a great Q3 and Q4.
I'm very optimistic.
We're speaking now with Marshall Beard. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Gemini, one of the world's largest exchanges. We'll be talking about the future of not just crypto exchanges, but also the future of Gemini. Welcome to the show, Marshall. I'm David Lin.
I'm Bonnie.
Good to see you, Marshall.
Thank you for having me.
The U.S. is now more pro-crypto. That is, of course, the opinion of market observance. First of all, do you agree with this overall viewpoint, given what Trump's done so far, 3 months into his term? And second, if it is a more crypto-friendly regulator, environment, what does this mean for exchanges?
I absolutely agree with that sentiment. You can just see it. A year ago, conversations were much different than today, and the industry here in the U.S. faced pretty massive headwinds, and now we face pretty massive tailwinds. So it's been incredible, very optimistic, it's very exciting. You see pro-crypto picks within the Treasury, within the SEC, within the CFTC. We have a digital assets working group with David Sachs, and so everything that Trump campaigned on he's delivered. So it's incredibly exciting. What it means for the industry, what it means for our business, it helps us kind of find the clarity that we've been looking for that we didn't get in the last administration. Right now there's 2 bills being proposed. One is around stablecoin bill, one's around a market structure bill. Those are the first steps that are going to really kind of solidify how to operate here in the U.S. And I think global regulators will also look at that too. So it's very exciting. We're very optimistic, and couldn't kind of be going better, I think.
It creates more competition in the space, right? Presumably the moat is being removed.
Potentially. I mean, it depends on how you think about regulatory moat and the competitive advantage of that. Yeah. I think there's going to be some operators that still maybe, cannot operate under rule setting regardless of where it is. So we welcome more growth and opportunity. And so we haven't really been thinking about regulatory capture with this change at all.
What are exchanges doing in light of new ETFs being launched? They're not coins on an exchange. Are there competing product?
I don't think they compete. When the ETFs launched last year, started with Bitcoin, now we have an Ethereum ETF. There's applications for other token ETFs. One side of that is, all these ETF issuers need a custodian. So Gemini is actually a custodian for some of the largest ETFs in the world in multiple countries. Gemini has a little over 20 billion of crypto under management. So we end up working with ETF issuers anyways through our custodianship. They also then potentially trade, settle, and clear through the platform as well. I think it's additive to our business. I think it's additive to the industry. It's a different type of investor that might be buying these ETFs. It might be a different type of institutional investor or a different type of consumer that invests in this. But you're not getting 24/7 access. You're not being able to do anything on chain with this. So it's a different product, so to say, but I think it's additive.
You talk about custody, so I want to ask you about insurance. How does it work in crypto world today, if you can comment on it?
Insurance?
Yeah.
Some custodians offer, or exchanges and custodians offer insurance. Some don't, I would assume. Gemini Trust Company, which is our New York Department of Financial Services regulated qualified custodian. We do have digital asset insurance, upwards of 9 figures of insurance on, I think it's called specie insurance, for, hacks or fraud or something. So premiums are still pretty expensive, and not everyone has insurance. We have some insurance on our qualified custodian.
I asked this because of the recent hack of another exchange. It was the biggest hack of human history, right? So how could that be prevented in your view?
Yeah. What happened with that hack is I can only see what I can see publicly. And so, when I see publicly, our security team did kind of an analysis. Our crypto infrastructure, our wallet and key management infrastructure is built differently. Our custodian is proprietarily built in-house. I think they had a partner that was involved, and so I can't speak too fluently on what happened there, other than, we did a review. What happened to them does not impact our custodianship. I think, what we do best at Gemini is keep digital assets safe. It's what we've done for the last decade. We'll continue to do that.
Are you in Asia?
We are. Gemini's Asian headquarters is in Singapore. I think we have, 60 employees in Singapore. They manage kind of all of our operations in the region.
Okay, and that is your main country in Asia?
Correct, yeah. We have an in-principle approval license with the Monetary Authority of Singapore, and Singapore itself is one of our, top jurisdictions.
Okay. Are you expanding to any other Asian countries?
Yeah, so we operate in other Asian countries. We have a focus on Southeast Asia. We look at regulation that Hong Kong passes. We look at, JFSA in Japan. We look at South Korean regs, and then maybe even outside of Southeast Asia with Australia and Turkey where there's great adoption. So we look at, territory as a whole, and, if it makes sense within the thesis of growth, we can, operate there.
What is your edge? How do you compete with other local exchanges?
Sure. Gemini has incredible product suite, right? So, we are customer obsessed. We offer simple, easy to use onboarding and getting into crypto for, newcomers, and we offer institutional grade, pro tail features as well. So we service everybody. We have elegant products. We have incredible fiat rails, so we make it really easy to be the bridge from, traditional dollars into crypto. And we've been doing this for a long time. We've been doing this for over a decade. We have a strong brand and great products. People love using Gemini.
And you do have derivatives, right?
Correct, yes.
What's your listings decision-making process?
Sure. We have, historically and still today, we have a pretty rigorous listing process. Gemini does not have as many coins as some of our competitors, kind of purposefully, strategically. And so we have internal committees, we have regulators globally that have listing frameworks as well. We follow that. We get board approval, our security teams, our risk teams, our fraud teams. There's a very comprehensive review of a new token that goes all the way up to our board for every token that gets listed on Gemini.
Well, that is interesting because other exchanges, for example, some exchanges in Asia, the listing happens in half a day. Like a coin could come out in the morning and it's on the exchange by noon.
We can move very quickly. Technically, we can operate very quickly to list new tokens, but we just have a rigorous process to allow customers access to those coins within our platform.
Reasoning?
Safety, security, soundness. We want to review the contract code. We want to review who launched it, the founders potentially. We want to look at if customers are demanding it, all sorts of different reasons.
So you're not chasing the hype, so-called?
Not particularly.
What are red flags that you see that could be applied to retail investors?
Can you elaborate on that?
Red flags and projects that you may see that you would hesitate on listing, and some lessons you learn there that we can learn from.
Potentially like really low float, like the founding team or core team owning a really large percentage of an asset, some sort of bug within like the smart contract itself, potential nefarious kind of market makers associated with the project, things like that.
Is anonymity of the founders important for you? Something you look at?
Look, Bitcoin doesn't have a known founder, and so it's just a piece of our framework that we look at. We do a risk assessment on many different things.
Last question from me. Sure. So can you comment on some of the kinds of coins that are most popular right now by trading volume on Gemini?
Yes. Crypto is very interesting, and phases come and go.
Yeah.
I think in the last few months, meme coins had this like big adoption rate and large volatility. I think that's actually quieted down over the last few weeks, which is interesting. It was kind of short-lived. But as new layer 2s come out, as new stable coins come out, as kind of meme coins come out or community tokens come out, we look at all those for listing on Gemini, but it kind of comes in waves.
Question about the crypto stockpile. Why do you think they pick these coins?
Yeah, I think right now they've only committed for this strategic reserve to be Bitcoin, which I think is probably the right way to start. How they look at tokens after that, similar to how we look at utility of tokens at Gemini, right? What is the value it creates? How many people are using this thing? What is the utility behind it? What is the market cap? What is the velocity? How many developers are building on the chain? I would look at that if I was in charge of the reserve.
So it's not because it's made in the USA?
Oh, that might be a component too. Hard to tell sometimes what is made in the USA versus not within crypto. So that's definitely a factor I think they look at.
I do have a question though. So it says the government can actually buy and sell these crypto altcoins. How does that affect these altcoins? They're just, well, to me, it just sounds like there's this huge whale that can buy and trade these altcoins. But how does that affect the overall project?
I don't think the US government is going to be actively trading tokens, right? I think they're going to actively acquire through various mechanisms. They might dispose of assets for certain reasons, but I don't think they're going to be trading. For Bitcoin, it's positive. Obviously, price, currently hasn't done much with that announcement, which is, fine generally. And then for altcoins, if it gets announced and they have low market caps, it's probably a bullish, indicator for it. But I don't think there's been any commitments to altcoins yet.
Are you able to comment on why do we have all these great news, but the price isn't that great?
Yeah, crypto currently, at least right now, is tied to broader macro. The new administration, President Trump, has created friction and uncertainty in the markets through the speed at which he's operating right now. I'm not too concerned about this long term at all. I think this is initial uncertainty of how he's going to, run his administration. But I've been doing crypto for a long time. This is nothing.
A short-term bump.
Correct.
Define short-term.
First half of the year.
Okay. So we are going to have a great Q3 and Q4.
I'm very optimistic.
That's great news.
It's a moving interview, making me cry. Thank you so much, Marshall.
Of course, thank you.
Appreciate you coming out.
Absolutely, thank you. Great to meet you.
That was great. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Great to meet you.